Today's topic is grown folk business. Hi, thank you for joining me for another episode of Kay's Corner. Well, for today's 10-minute talk, I'm going to discuss how children should stay in a child's place. I know many of you agree with this. We are having a problem today with children understanding that there's some conversations that they should just not be involved in. So I'd like to just say if adults are talking, children shouldn't be involved. But I actually have to just tell some adults conversations that they themselves should not involve children in. See, when I was a child, if my mother had company, I knew to get up and go to the other room or to go play. And I most certainly did not insert my opinion because, that could get you slapped in the mouth. Unfortunately, we don't have enough children getting popped in the mouth today. So if you know someone, or if this happens in your home, and what I mean by this, if you're sitting around having a conversation and a child just happens to be around and you and the other adults are talking and that child interjects him or herself into the conversation to give you their opinion, that's a child not being in a child's place. So now I'm going to be very specific about some instances. Parents. Let's talk about parents who are together, living in the same house. Do not ever question your child about your spouse. So mama, that means we don't ask a child what daddy did. And daddy, we don't ask a child what mama did. All that does is put that child in a very awkward position. And now they have to choose who they're loyal to. And that's not fair. You shouldn't do that to them. So if you got adult issues, adults, we got to deal with adult issues. Now, I would like to say also that we should never argue in front of our children, but I'm not going to say that because if they don't see us handle conflict, how do they learn to healthily handle conflict? So they got to see us argue. They got to see us resolve issues so that they know it can be done without screaming and without yelling, and that there's a mature way to do those things. So we don't question children about our spouse or about their parent. Let's say if we're separated and there's a step parent or a step girlfriend or boyfriend. When your child gets home, it's ridiculous to have to give a play-by-play of everything that happened at daddy's house this weekend or what happened at your mama's, from the time you got out of the car. That's wrong, people. Don't do that to your children. That's wrong. The other thing that you should not do is if you don't like that step parent, don't talk about that step parent to your child. That's inappropriate. It is wrong. It harms your child. Now, I'm not telling anybody that they have to like anybody or they have to tolerate anybody. I'm just saying don't put your child in it. Don't. If that person is good to your child and your child loves them, can you be grateful for that? So don't do that. In-laws. You don't like your husband's sister, your boyfriend's sister. If you don't like your wife's or your girlfriend's sister or auntie and all, don't talk to your children about it. Don't talk in front of your children about it, because especially young children, don't get mad if your 6-year-old says, I don't know why daddy didn't like auntie such and such because she nice to me. Now your child just told you business. You mad with your child, but you should have never talked about auntie in front of your child. Not appropriate. I started this episode off by saying a child should stay in a child's place. Now we expect a child to stay in a child's place, but we can't pull a child into adult space. Yeah, you can't do that. The next place. I know I'm an educator and I'm an advocate for educators, but when you talk about teachers and you say negative things about the school and your child is already having problems in the school, it's just going to make it worse for your child. It makes no sense to send your child into a place that you speak negatively about every day and expect your child to have a good attitude, because we're going to have issues with people. And you can't allow your child to be disrespectful to a teacher just because my mama doesn't like you anyway. My mama thinks this, my mama... I got you, but mothers, fathers, you got to remember, you send that child into that school by themselves. They have to interact with these adults on their own. It's better if we all are positive, because you don't want your child, if you already... sometimes you're just going to have personality conflicts with the teacher. That's expected, because teachers, administrators, they're people too. You may just not like them, but your child doesn't need to know that. Because see, what you need to know is that your child is constantly being respectful and trying their best and doing what they're supposed to do. And then if there's an issue with the adult, call the parent conference. You have every right to do that. Go out to the school and check and talk to people and find out. But even if you have a disagreement with the teacher, child doesn't have to be in the parent conference. All I'm saying is allow them the opportunity to form their own opinions. Allow them the opportunity to learn what other people are about. Don't taint them with your beliefs of others. And I should have said this when I talked about, parents and spouses, but this is a very important one. We've got dads out there who are raising children by themselves. We know we've got single mothers out there raising children by themselves. But mamas and daddies, you cannot say to that child, your daddy doesn't do anything for you. Your daddy doesn't care about you. Your mama doesn't care about you. If he or she did, they come see you. Or say, for instance, the mother or father is on drugs, or they may even have another family. Don't hurt your child by saying negative things about that parent. Because in my profession, I've seen a lot of children with some mothers that some of you guys, or some fathers that some of you guys would consider bad mamas and daddies. But those kids, they love their parents. You hear me? So don't think your children are any different. You may have a problem with their dad. You may have a problem with their mom. But do not voice your opinion, your negative opinion about that parent to that child. If the child asks, you know what? I advise you almost to do something. You're going to have to maybe tell a few lies. Mama, does my daddy love me? Yes, your daddy loves you. Well, why isn't he in my life? Baby, I don't know. He might be busy, or he might be working a lot. When we were together, he worked a lot. eventually your child is going to grow up, and he or she is going to realize that mama always tried. Mama, daddy, they were always there. And whenever I asked, they would always try and say something positive. I know my daddy wasn't coming. I knew they will figure that thing out on their own. But we cannot put children in adult situations. Started off by saying, let's keep children in the place of a child. All right, that's my 10 minutes. Thank you for joining me for my Tuesday 10-minute talk. And remember, I'm always in your corner. Ding, ding.